This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
If you commit to something, do it. If you don't want to do it, say no. But if you say yeah and you committed to something, you got to do it. Stick it out. Do it.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
My rent is paid. I have a roof over my head. I'm married to the most amazing man in the world who cares about me and supports me, keeps me safe, and I don't know. I got it all.
It is the 22nd of September. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name's Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. And I'm going to add to your bragging montage there. I'm going to just go ahead and talk about fantasy football.
Oh no, I cut it real close this last week.
Yeah, you beat George by, was it 0.5?
Yeah.
Like half a point.
Half a point.
And sometimes you come so close to winning like that, and it feels so good to win like that, though. It really does. And like we thought, wow, that's crazy. And I looked down, and then April had beat Dan by 0.16.
That's, yeah, even closer.
Like a tenth of a point.
What I had heard, he admitted defeat
A yard.
at one point. So I had just turned it up, stopped looking at my scores because I was like, yeah, it's not going to be the day.
Yeah, because you were winning, and then they pulled your quarterback. I think that kind of really is when you were like,
that burned me.
You were pissed.
I was pissed.
Yeah, I thought you were going to throw the TV out the window.
I was like, screw this game. This is stupid.
The start of the fourth quarter, they take out Allen, and I think it was actually before the fourth quarter started, they took him out.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh man, he's going to make some records here tonight.
I remember looking at your stuff, and the guy you were playing, George, he had Buffalo's defense. He had a couple. I think he had the tight end from Philadelphia, and he had Jefferson.
Yeah, and they were letting them keep getting points, so I don't understand.
Minnesota. Yeah, it's funny though. But yeah, you were a little upset, and look who's in first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's you.
Yeah.
Playing with Fire's name of your team, and and in second place, right behind you, our good buddy
Tyrone.
Mr. taking Matt Stafford, number 1 overall last year, to now being 2-0 and in second place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty fun. And I got my clock cleaned again last week. Tyrone beat me week 1, and then Adam beat me last week. Adam number 2. We have 2 Adams.
Yeah.
So Adam 2, because he was the second to join. And I don't know. It's like I changed the team name. It's kind of like has different meanings because it's really like the 5 stages of grief. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of too long. So I just put, all right, stage 1, denial. So this week my team name's Denial. And then next week I think it's Anger or something. I don't know. I'll have to look it up again. But yeah, see, that's how we start a recovery podcast as we talk about our recovery fantasy football league.
Yeah.
Brooks is killing it. I mean, that's the thing, man. To find fun in something that you've never done before. 2-3 years ago, you'd have been like, what? No. And now here you are leading the league, and you actually enjoy it.
I do. It's fun.
And hopefully April, who I'm playing this week, I'm going to beat her. She left her tight end on the bench. She's got like 18 points already. She's probably going to kick herself. But, that's Justin's fiance, and it's her first year playing, so you remember those days.
Yeah.
I remember you still walking out the door. No, just let it auto draft. I'm like, what? So, but now you're like, you're doing just as many mock drafts as I'm doing, and that's pretty crazy. But you just you find something that you never thought you would like or enjoy, and I don't know if you do it just because I don't think you do it just because I do it. I just think that you see that it does bring me joy since I listen to it year round. Fantasy football.
I definitely don't do it because you do it. I started it because I was brought so much attention to it because you listen to it all the time. So I started getting interested in it and paying attention. And then from that point on, it was just introduced to me as something that could be fun because I was like, he finds so much joy in this. There's got to be something to it. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get into it as much as this guy does, but obviously there's something to it. And trying new things in recovery, figuring out what it is that I like to do. And it is fun, so and it's interactive and it's something that changes every week. And there's some competition, but it's also like healthy, you know, it is all just for fun. So
Yeah, and it's perfect too because like you're going to school right now, so you can like have a game on while you're doing schoolwork and just kind of look up every once in a while. I'm like, okay, cool. Or just hear your running back's name and you're like, oh wait, what do you do? All right, okay, cool. And then you're back in your thing, and it helps pass the time, and it really does get me through the best season ever, which is fall and then winter. So it's fun. But yeah, just, you know, and to do it sober, I'd never done it sober before, and I was kind of worried, and yeah, so something to do. And yeah, I'm proud of the people that are in our sober league, and the competitiveness, and you know, the shit talk that kind of happens. And yeah, I'm glad that you're in it. I'm glad that we got the league full and everybody's having a good time so far. Yeah. And I'm in dead last place, least points scored, so I'm sure everybody's loving that. But if it brings some joy, man, whatever. Denial.
For sure.
I'm in denial. So I think today is our episode number 700.
That's awesome.
I think so.
Well, let's just say it is.
It's ballpark. Because if you want to there's some episodes that we did. I mean, just the other episode the other day from the library, like, was that really an episode? I don't know. I don't really
post it.
I think so.
Well, then, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, there's some that are some kind of questionable maybe or whatever. But like on, I think it was Apple or Amazon. One of them, it lists how many episodes we have. And it said, I don't know, it might say 700 now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Kind of a big deal. Mm-hmm. Just think, you know, it was about 3 years ago that I met you.
That's so crazy. I
wish, man, see, if I could build a time machine, I wouldn't build it to go back and fix anything about my past like that. I would go back to
watch it.
No, I would go back to tell you, be like, hey, in 3 years, we're going to be married. And we're going to be doing our 700th episode of the podcast.
I thought you were insane.
You're going to be my co-host. You're gonna be like, what are you talking about?
Of
dude?
what? What said of what? I didn't even know what you were doing.
You're going to have a cat.
Yeah, right.
A couple. Yeah, it's crazy. You think about where we were and where we are now in just such a short time, but it seems like so long ago. And I don't know if that's just like a sober thing. Mm-hmm. Like we remember our days now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because 3 years, I mean, to some people, especially I remember, you know, having 1 week sober. 3 years, there's no way. Yeah. It seemed like such a long time, but like 3 years now doesn't seem like that long.
It really doesn't.
It seems like just yesterday. But yeah, and I'll have 4 years coming up in a few months. That's pretty nuts. 3 months.
Wow.
4 years clean. I wonder if my younger brother, Travis, I wonder if he talks to people, or if my sister, or my older brother, Jerry. I wonder if people ever talk to them about drinking too much or doing too much. I wonder if they ever say, oh, you know, my brother is in recovery and, you know, you should check out his podcast. Or I wonder if he ever talks about it.
I bet you he does.
The other family members.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's just what they've experienced because of what we've been through. It's always kind of more in the forefront, I think, of their head than other average people. I think that's true for anybody who has a loved one that has dealt with addiction, like majorly to the point where, I mean, our life was on the line. You know, they know how serious it is. And I know for a fact, like, I'm sure my stepsister, Alex, like, she had that conversation at a really young age. You know, even when she was in college, she was questioning her sobriety. Like, she knew for a fact that she was genetically predisposed, however much people want to believe in that. If that's a thing, I mean, science does show that, you know, heredity is one piece of it. So, you know, take that into consideration. And she took it seriously. She saw firsthand, like, way too close, how devastating this disease can be. So now I think she really treads lightly on the subject of alcohol, and maybe even was like, I don't even want to go there. Like, I don't even want to see if there's a potentially that I could end up to where they were, meaning myself and my father, who, are both now sober, but too close for comfort kind of thing.
Yeah. But I didn't really have the family issues, so, I mean, he saw me obviously go through it, but he didn't see it as close as Alex, your sister, did. So I wonder about that, because at the library thing, I had to talk up there, and some people will tell you that I cried. There was these no-see-ums, and they kept jumping in my eyes and started tearing up. And then there was this breeze that would and catch my breath. There's a strong wind that night.
I wish I could find somebody who'd tape that.
It kind of happened at the same time, so it kind of made it sound like I was.
So you cried. That's cute,
choked
honey.
up a little bit. I don't know. I mean, some people might say that, but I don't think I was doing any of that.
No, it's because it means a lot to you.
No, because it was Families Against Narcotics, and nobody had talked really about their family, and so when I got up there at the end, it was just like, I want to give shout outs, to people that aren't here. So I started shouting out to some people, and the next day, a couple reached out to me about helping their son get to a location that he needs to be. And in that text message, she mentioned the thing that I had maybe cried or not. And she said, I bet your mom's really proud of you. And I said, I think my mom is. I'm sure she's proud of me, but I think she's proud of herself too. And they got to pat themselves on the back. The things that my mom went through, she could tell you the horror stories, just seeing that look on her face, of helplessness, she can't control any of this, it's all up to me, and not knowing if she's doing the right thing. So I said, I think she's proud of herself. And I know that when she goes to the store, it's different, and that was something that I didn't think about until I think it was after I started the podcast, even when my mom and my sister, I think both told me that, yeah, when we go to the store sometimes we'll see some people, and, they will be like, oh, how's Corey is, and my mom, she said she'd always fear when she would get that question from people she would know, how's Corey doing? It was like oh.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I don't think she worries about that now. I think she welcomes it. And if she goes to the store and she's hoping someone's like, hey, how's Corey doing? Oh, he's doing great. He's married to a beautiful woman, and he started a company. It's a nonprofit. He helps people, has a podcast. I bet she loves telling it now.
Yeah.
But just how that changes. And I was just kind of telling them that. And hopefully it gives that family hope, because they're kind of going through the same thing. And it's tough. It's tough on families. It really is. So just that we can thank those people that have been there for us, and, the ones that didn't give up. And I don't blame the ones that did. That it's hard. You don't know what to do. There's people that I'll reach out to a couple times, but of course I'm not family with them, and they want to give me the runaround. And it's like, I know what they're doing. I've been there. I've done that. I've told the same stories. I've told the same lies, man. And then they keep spinning the lies, and it's like, all right, well, I don't want to waste my time with that. And then I just move on and walk away. But I can do that. You can't do that with your son or daughter. You want to probably. It'd be great, if you could just forget. But that love is there. That bond is there. You can't just give up. So I guess it's different. When I'm talking about what I do with people, it's like, hey, I'll reach out to help, but I'm not going to go out of my way to waste my time. They know my number, these people do, and they know how to get a hold of me if they do need help, or when they do want help, or when they're done. Some people, you got to learn the hard way. I was one of those, obviously, going to treatment so many times. Yeah, it's not, it's not because I wasn't trying. It was because I wasn't ready to accept the fact that I could never drink or use drugs again. I was still thinking, 5 years from now, I'll be up just fine. Nobody will know. But when I could accept it, not accept that I was an alcoholic, but accept that I could never drink again. And some will say that's the same thing. Well, you got to accept that you're an alcoholic and that you can never drink again. Whatever. I'm saying when I became good with it, 100% fine with never drinking again. Mm-hmm. When I accepted that, that's when everything changed. Yeah. And I don't know when that was. It was in sober living, I think, but it just happened. It wasn't like I was laying in bed one day and I thought, oh, I'm just going to accept this.
Yeah.
And I think everything that I was doing was leading me to that decision or that peace of mind, I want to say.
It's something that I agree. It's something that kind of, I don't want to say creeps up on you, but it's like one of those times when you're in the midst of maybe just like a out of nowhere self-evaluation, like how am I really doing? And you're like, holy crap, like I'm that, like I'm at that point where I honestly, truly, hand to God, do not want to pick up a drink today. I have no intentions and no desire whatsoever.
Yeah.
Wasn't like, hey, maybe next week I'll never have the desire to pick up a drink or craving. I mean, and not saying that will last forever. There's days that are hard, but they're few and far between, and there's nothing I don't think that could come across my path today that would get me to have me pick up.
Yeah, and I'm same. And not trying to think about too much of the future, the bad things that will happen or loss, I would love to sit here and tell you that I'm going to be strong enough. I pray that I will be, but I can't tell you 100%, oh, I'm never going to drink in those situations. But I'm never just going to go, oh, man, I feel like drinking because football's on. Like that doesn't even pop in my head, man. But before it did, and it was hard for me to watch a football game. Like I said earlier, it was hard for me to do fantasy football. I didn't think I could do it sober. But now I can, there's everything I can do sober, plus 1,000 other things that I can do that I never thought I could do before. Yeah. That I do sober. And I love it. This guy, he posted something on Facebook the other day about, and he wrote me on Messenger and asked me about stats. Hey, give me some stats on how many people go to treatment and make it. And we've talked about this before. If you even see any stats, if you go to Winfield's Recovery Treatment Center.com or whatever treatment center website, that's, again, horrible examples. I realize that I'm working on it. But you go to any website, and if they tell you, oh, we have an 82% success rate, run. They're lying. There's no way to keep track of everybody, first of all. There's no way to, even if they called everybody that left their treatment center, which they don't, how do they know they're telling the truth? Mm-hmm. Are they saying that 81% of people don't come back to their treatment center?
Right.
Well, yeah, most of them charge like $30,000. So no, they're not, because that's how the disease. Well,
I think we had this conversation at one point too, and if a treatment center followed up on the clients that had left their program, and so they made 20 phone calls to people that had left on a particular month, and 5 of them returned their phone calls and said they were sober, are they going to assume that the 15 other people, so that's unsuccessful? Because, I mean, that's not fair.
Or are they only?
Or they're going to be like, oh, well, they didn't call back and said they had relapsed, so that's just that. We'll only count the people that called back.
You got a hold of 5 of them. 4 of them said they didn't, so 80% sounds good. No, but nobody has time. They're not doing that.
I didn't report back.
No, so whatever stat they're using, it's ridiculous, and that's what I told them, and. He took that and he went on his own little rant on Facebook about, out of all the alcoholics that he knows, I'm the only one, Corey W., who has made it. I almost started to respond, and I was like, dude, just stop.
I wonder.
And like people started like, oh, I'm sober, so I'm like, oh no, he's getting enough. Like he doesn't need to hear from me, but
I suppose the only way you could really
And he knows you too. That's what's messed up.
Really?
Yeah, he knows you. So I'm like, well, he knows me and you. I don't know why he's putting my name out. You know, I think he had been drinking.
Uh-huh.
I think he had been drinking.
Well, I'm thinking the only way you could really get stats is if you like of people like if how many rehabilitation programs or treatment programs did you go to before you had 5 years? Ask the people that have 5 years sober, how many treatment programs did you attend before you got your 5 years consecutive sobriety? Then that's a stat, I guess.
I know, and that's what's crazy is about, you know, we're a nonprofit organization, and we apply for grants and stuff like that. They want to know stats. They want to know what percentage of what people, how much. I'm like, dude, I don't know. How many people in that region are, I don't know. How many have actually reached out for help or how many need help but are afraid to reach out for help? Mm-hmm. And maybe this program we're starting is going to create something that will inspire them to reach out for help, to know that it's safe. You know, a lot of people still have that fear of if I reach out, work's going to fire me. I had that same one. I had that same fear.
Yeah.
You know, and I did get fired, but that wasn't for the addiction part. It kind of turned into it more again, but at first it was the depression, you know, like that got me all twisted up there in Benton Harbor. But I'm glad I don't work for those people anymore. Everything happens for a reason. At the time, I thought it was like one of the worst things that's ever happened in my life. And I look at it now as like one of the best things that's ever happened in my life.
Yep.
And did I have to go through some hard times? You bet your ass I did.
Yeah.
But it only made me stronger. And it led me to where I am today. So, yeah, I wouldn't change any of that. But some people, they're going through that hard time and they don't want to. And they think that if they go to treatment, they're just going to be fixed. They think that going to treatment fixes you. No, you get tools. But all the work is in between your ears. Like, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And
that's so true.
It's not hard to give up alcohol or drugs. It's not. Or it is hard. It's not easy to just walk away from it. With alcohol screaming, it was screaming in my brain. Mm-hmm. You're outside today. It's sunny. Drink. You want to drink. It's so good. Remember? I mean, it really wasn't. I didn't hear voices, but it was like I was very motivated.
Yeah.
To find ways to be alone, to drink.
Yeah. Just
one more time. And I just remember that last time I drank, it was horrible. It was bad. And like one of the last times, like my brain, like I tell people all the time, my brain lied to me, man. And the brain lies to everybody when it comes to addiction. It was telling me how good it was and how great the buzz was going to be. And I remember I got to my apartment and I cracked the seal and drank, you know, right from the bottle. And I waited like 1:40 or whatever it is for it to hit the bloodstream. And I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't even feel like it. You know, like what's going, so I drank the whole bottle, of course, but like I never got that buzz. I never got that euphoria that my brain was telling me I was going to get. And I was like, you lying bastard. And yeah, then shortly after that, that's when I had my last drink. But like, ooh.
Lies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you have to go through that and you have to learn it on your own. You know, like that dude, you know, was wanting stats. I was a stat guy. I wanted them stats too. And then I started just believing the stats that I wanted to. Like when I was told, and this is something that's probably much more obtainable, is people that go to sober living. And if they live in sober living for, I think, 6 months, you know, it goes up. Mm-hmm. You know, your chance to make it to a year goes up to like 80%. Mm-hmm. I was like, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sign me up. You know, and for that year, I remember thinking that I was never going to do that.
Here you are.
Mm-hmm. Married. Starting stuff. Losing at fantasy football. I don't think I've ever started 0-2 before. It's crazy. Just saying. Denial. Stages of grief. That's number one. Now, so yeah, it was fun. I'm glad that you did the podcast. I almost did it earlier. Mm-hmm. But I was like, how do I do the 700th episode alone? I was like, I don't think I could do it like that. And this could be $6.99 because I think I had it on the 24th.
That's okay. It's just detail.
All right, we'll have 700 or 701 on Saturday. We should have you tell a story about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what about?
I don't know.
All right. Think about it and let me know.
All right, stay tuned. Next episode, Marty's telling a story about something.
All right.
We'll dig deep. And then, of course, we got the intimacy game.
That's right.
It's going to bite us one of these days. It's going to be something where it's like, whoa.
Probably. Not yet, though.
No. No. I'm waiting. Oh, I didn't talk about that, did I? Well, not that I was on the Discord, because we have a Discord. And if you're not familiar with Discord, it's like a chat service. And you were kind of like, wait, what is that? What are you doing? Well, Gordon Keith from The Ticket in Dallas, it's a radio station I listen to. Gordon Keith, kind of my hero. And Saturday night, they do this Discord where it's an app. You get on, and I don't know, there was like 150 people on his, and he's talking with other people, and then he like brings people up on what he calls the stage, and he lets people kind of talk. And this would be great for us to do. We have one, we just haven't used it yet, where they could come and tell their story. And he picked me, he was like, hey, Corey. And I'm like, hey, and he asked me, some questions, and told me to tell me about myself. And I kind of mentioned recovery, and he's like, yeah, tell me your story. And so I got to tell him a little bit about my recovery story for about 20 minutes. And it was pretty cool. I was on with my hero.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So look for that Discord from us. I think that would be a good way. And even if it starts off with 4 people, like, who cares? Like, I'm not really looking to get 1 million people on there. I think that limits you at some point, but I just think it's something that we could do every Saturday night, and it would give people a chance to talk back to us. Like the podcast is convenient. People can listen in the car, in the shower, whenever they can listen. But to actually pick a day and be like, hey, Saturday night, like, join Corey and Marnie on the Discord. You're like, whoa, well, what are you dropping Marnie's name in there for? But some you and Justin can do? Yeah, it is. But that would be fun. And get Tyrone on there, just get the whole crew together and just have people in recovery come on. And like I said, tell their stories. I think that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome.
But anyway, appreciate you. Listen on Saturday. This story that Marty's going to tell, top notch. It's going to be amazing. You don't want to miss that. And then we'll probably talk more about the Discord on Saturday too.
All right.
So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you then.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app and support recovery by rating us in the App Store.